What does zero mean? Does it mean safe? We're talking about industrial radiography, survey meters after an exposure. A question that comes up sometimes on written tests, but sometimes in real life is, after you make a radiography exposure and your survey meter reads 0, what does this mean? And the mistake people make is thinking that 0 reading on your meter at the camera means safe, and it does not. 0 could mean many things. It could mean your meter is broken. It could mean you have a battery that's getting weak. The battery could have just come loose, shook loose. The meter could be saturated to where it's not even working. It could be a number of things. Speaking of saturation, just in case it's a term you're not familiar with, Geiger-Muller tubes use gas amplification as part of the ionization process. And if there's enough radiation level, the gas in the meter stays so ionized that the tube quits functioning. It can't recover. So you have a non-functioning tube, the needle drops to 0. Does 0 mean it's safe? No. So it could be that your meter is just not working because there's so much radiation that the meter can't measure it anymore. It does not, 0 reading on a meter does not mean 0. So yes, if you walk into a high enough radiation level with a Geiger-Muller tube survey meter, the needle can fall to 0, even though you're in a super dangerous radiation field. On one of the most common meters on the market, this will occur, the saturation event will occur where the needle will drop to 0 at about 1,000 R per hour. That's full R, not millir's, not milliroentgens, it's full R per hour. When you're doing a camera survey after the exposure, if you get 0 at this spot, this is bad. Something is wrong. A 0 reading here does not mean safe. What you do at the beginning of the day is you're always taking a baseline reading of your camera to see how much radiation level you can measure from the outside and go all the way around so you know what it looks like all the way around. That gets you a baseline reading. It also does a function of letting you test your meter and make sure it's actually responding to radiation. You pull it away from the camera, get it closer to the camera, go around the camera and see that it's responding to radiation correctly. After you make an exposure, you always compare the reading after your exposure to that baseline reading you did at the beginning of the day. If it's way different, or if you have a 0, something is wrong. And 0 does not mean that there's no radiation there. It means something's not right, because you should be able to see some radiation. If you use that fact that the camera isn't so large and so well shielded that you can't measure the radiation, and you use that with proper safety procedures, you should be able to know for sure that you're okay, because I can see the sources in the camera. I go 360 degrees around and all the way down the tube, and I'm getting the readings I expect. That means at this moment that I'm taking the reading, my meter seems to be working correctly, and I'm getting the expected radiation level. The source must be in the camera. So the meter itself is not a fail-safe device, but if you use it with proper procedures, it's pretty safe. If you go up, you should see a reading when you're at the camera. If you get a 0, that means something's not functioning correctly. You always should be able to see, I call it see, even though you're measuring radiation, the source in the camera. If you go up and do the survey after the shot and you get a 0, what do I do? If you see a 0, that means something's not right. Walk away is the correct answer. Now on a written test, you'll have to pick the best answer they give you. And a lot of times they don't, on written tests, the people don't give you a textbook correct answer. So just use your logic and pick the best answer. But what should I do? Walk away. Something's not right. Don't stand at the camera and try to figure out what that something is. The moment you notice something's not quite right, turn around, walk away to a safe distance, whether that's your barricade or wherever. Get off to a safe distance, then take a deep breath and calmly troubleshoot and think what it is. Is my battery dead? Did I bump my meter against something, the batteries came loose? Do I need to get my backup meter if I have one? Troubleshoot at that distance where you're safe. The number one bad thing you can do is panic, because you make stupid decisions when you panic. Walk away calmly to a safe distance. Nobody's getting hurt if everybody's away from the source, and troubleshoot then. So that was just a quick reminder. What do you do if you just get a 0 when you're doing a camera survey? It does not mean that it's safe. It means something's not quite right. Turn around and walk away.